Hello, hello, and welcome to Stratos Live. My name is Michael Dieter, coming to you from Chicago, Illinois. I am here as your host to bring you the hottest topics in cloud, digital transformation, IT, security, ERP, CRM, Microsoft partner announcements and updates, and so much more. But before I forget, don't forget to like and subscribe to get updates and notifications to all things Stratos Cloud Alliance, but also to get notified when we go live during our weekly live chats here on LinkedIn and YouTube Live. We also encourage your engagement with us. Type a question to the comment section, and we will try to get to it during our live Q&A today. Now, today is all about recapping the largest Microsoft channel partner event of the year, Directions North America. It was an incredible week in Las Vegas, nearly 1,400 Microsoft partners from around the world coming together to explore what's next for Dynamics 365 Business Central, Copilot, the future of AI. We'll talk about that a lot. I'm sure you've heard those buzzwords coming out of Directions. All about the Microsoft ecosystem. Major product announcements to mindset shifting keynotes. This year's event was packed with insights, inspiration, and really a clear path forward, for partners. To help break it all down, I am joined by someone who knows this channel inside and out. Scott May, Director of Channel Development here at Stratos Cloud Alliance. Scott spends his days working closely with partners to help them start, accelerate, scale their Dynamics 365 practices. He was on the ground at Directions this year, along with me. Has quite a bit to share about what stood out and why it all matters to partners.
Thanks, Mike. Good to join you again. Always exciting, and if you don't need another job, you could definitely go through and get into DJing with the way you announce everything. So
yeah, my radio,
your radio voice. So, but no, it was definitely I think one of the most kind of exciting conferences, the Directions conferences that I've been to, and I've been going to them since they started. And it definitely, there was a ton of, energy, a ton of excitement, a ton of content, a ton of direction, right? So, I came away from Directions this year even more excited, than I'd ever been for the direction that Stratos going, the direction that Microsoft's going. So, it was definitely an exciting event that is going to drive us, well into the rest of 2025 and into 2026.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was there too, and it's just great to see so many people in the channel.
Yeah,
It's like
always good to connect with everybody.
This one big family, right? It's you go there and lots of hugs, lots of conversations.
Tons of Microsoft representation this year, high level with Mike Morton and lots of other folks. So just a great commitment from Microsoft behind it still. And I think better than it ever was from, what I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great event on its own, but the fact that they bring so much Microsoft and Microsoft spends so much time presenting in so many sessions, I mean, what better way than to learn it from the horse's mouth, right? So it's great that they continuously, get involved and keep leveling up their involvement each year. So Scott, with boots on the ground there, what was, I bet you a lot of people can guess what this is, but what was the biggest theme at Directions this year in Las Vegas?
Well, we all know, AI is, kind of king, if you will, right now, right? But it wasn't just about the AI or just about Copilot, right? It was really about kind of, those, three things and agents coming together to go through and really provide a powerful message about how partners and their clients can, leverage all of that, right? It wasn't just, hey, what can AI do for me? It's, hey, what can I do with AI now? And it's really become, what I call ubiquitous within, the whole Microsoft, cloud platform now, right? You can't go into M365 without it. You can't go into Business Central without it. You can't, it's just really, it covers the whole platform. And so, for partners, it's definitely something that they need to start, forward thinking about, right? It's not, oh, hey, this is coming. No, this is here now. And that train's rolling down, the tracks at 100 miles an hour, right? And either you're, getting on board, or you're going to go through and be, left behind and, far behind, right?
Yeah.
So it was definitely AI, but it was an AI with a lot of, you know, here's how to go through and leverage it. Here's how to go through and use it. And here's tools
Yeah.
that we're developing and agents. And here's how you as a partner can go through and kind of, integrate into that. Obviously, there's some things that clients can do themselves, right? Which is great. But there's a lot of things that are going to be complex and basically things that, they're going to, call on their partner to go through and assist them with and look to their partner to be that subject matter expert, if you will, that's going to come in and help them take their vision and basically go through and get it implemented.
Right. I thought it was also really interesting, and I want to come back to that point about partners helping their clients. But before I do, there was a really good quote, and I have it written down here. I like this quote that the tone shifted from what can AI do to what can we do with AI, which I think
Yeah.
is really, I think that's a great imagery of how we were really excited about AI. We're a year plus a few months ago, um, and we're really excited about it, and we're curious what's it going to do, what's going to happen. There weren't a lot of answers then. Now there's a lot more answers. There's a lot
Mhm.
more of, okay, now we know it's here. What can we do with it? And
Yeah, and I think that is, that AI basically is just, it's going to be in the background doing this, and it's going to be, the agents that get created that they talked about that are really going to go through and be, driving the change, if you will, right? I think they mentioned, in the Microsoft Business Application Launch event that I was just on earlier today, it was all about AI agents and Copilot, and there's three levels, right? I think a year ago the level was, hey, what can AI do for me? That was kind of like, human with basically, an agent or AI assisting them, writing emails, doing small things that can, help with productivity. But then it goes from there to really, what we would consider human-led agents. So you build an agent and the human's telling the agent what to do, and it's taken over 30% of their work, to then autonomous basically agents that are actually built to figure things out on their own, and they're going to go through and be doing workloads on their own and figuring out challenges and coming up with workarounds or coming up with updates, or basically providing that feedback back to a human who's going to go through and address that. So
right.
it's really progressing, if you will.
So, are you speaking to Copilot agents?
Yeah, Copilot agent.
So, and that's a really good point that you're bringing up. I think the biggest things with Copilot outside of generative AI, in general, um, Copilot and Copilot Studio, I think the biggest highlight was around Copilot Studio's ability to now, for partners and customers to now be able to build their own Copilot agent using generative
Hmm.
AI, LLM, large language models, and their own data. And I think it's cool. They used one example. It was that one company reimagined its document indexing system, applying AI to 21 million legal and tax documents.
Hmm.
Which 21 million. Whoa. I mean, just cool things that you can
Yeah,
train your Copilot agents to
I think
do.
the that they mentioned basically earlier today was on Microsoft Business Applications was um, 1 second here.
No problem. Yeah, I think what Copilot Agents is doing is really neat because you're really able to build it custom to you and your
Yeah,
company.
yeah. The
Um,
one
and
the one company they mentioned, they built, they had like a chat bot before, which was a simple kind of using AI, but they built an
yeah,
agent basically, and they were able to go through and use that to do, I think, somewhere in the neighborhood of 24,000 chats, per month, that didn't need any additional assistance. Didn't need
Mhm.
any human, intervention, if you will.
Yeah,
So, can imagine how much, time saving that is to not have to have people to, address all of those things. And, I think about that in my day-to-day job and how can I go through and leverage that with, the questions that I deal with and things of that nature, which certainly, um, like I said, on a larger scale, there's a lot bigger opportunities. So,
sure. And just to sort of quickly highlight the new Copilot features they announced in Business Central include record summaries, sustainability journal suggestions, auto-filled purchase order lines, sales order agent, a paid preview of it. Payables agent is coming soon.
mhm.
Um, so exciting stuff on the horizon for what can be done with Copilot and Business Central. Um, so we talked about this a little bit before. There's, and you mentioned this. There's an opportunity for partners in this AI wave, right? And I think partners have the largest role to play in really leading their clients in this new age of AI and technology, to be that trusted advisor for them, to be their guiding light, to put them on the path to where they can use Copilot and large language models within their business securely. So I think it was really neat. Microsoft challenged the room, and said, "Will customers build their own AI agents, or will they turn to partners to help them?" Um, just curious on your feedback on that.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I think there's going to be simple things that clients are going to be able to go through and do on their own.
Mhm.
But most of the clients that are running a business, right? They've got their job to do. They've got their kind of priorities, and certainly going through and necessarily becoming co-pilot, agent experts, probably isn't on their top priority list, right? So for those more complex and that's I think where partners have to come and start having those conversations early with clients, right? About what's the vision for being able to take advantage of this, help those clients be able to think about the challenges within their business that the co-pilots and the agents are going to go through and be able to solve to create that vision, and then basically help them implement it, right? Help them build that. Some of them can be really complex using Azure and Azure data lakes and Azure natural language models, and depending upon the size of the company, those processes, creating those can be very complex, but they can go through and automate a whole lot of issues and challenges for companies that they're facing that they're doing manually now. So, you know,
Mhm.
there's basically boot camps that they could start doing for
Mhm.
their clients, right? Just to get them introduced to it, so that they can start thinking, the clients can start thinking about leveraging Copilot, and then hopefully they're going to reach back out to the partner to help them do that.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's the maybe you mentioned this, but the CSP deployment funding or offer to offset
Sure.
some implementation costs on that too. So
Yeah.
definitely worth checking that out. I know they
Yeah,
talked
it's
about that.
they've had AIM basically kind of sales pre-sales funding. Now they've got deployment funding basically that can help offset those clients' implementations cost. Partners nowadays, they also announced what they call CPOR, which is Claim Partner of Record. So
Mhm.
even if you're not the partner reselling the licenses per se, you can still go through and be on that account as the claim partner of record, still get those credits from Microsoft, if you will, for solution designations, for back end incentives. So I think that just opens it up for even more partners to go through and get involved, even if they weren't reselling licensed partners, in the past.
Sure. Uh, just cool stuff. I mean, I think cool is the the right word here. AI is pretty cool right now, and there was a lot of that. There was a lot of talk about directions, but there was also a lot talked about that wasn't all about AI. And one thing that really stood out that Directions has always been all about, which is originally Dynamics Vision, now Dynamics 365 Business Central. And they announced that Business Central now serves over 45,000 customers globally. Whoa. I mean, just like the growth that was 7 years ago, that D365 Business Central came out, and just reflects that Microsoft's commitment to making BC the top ERP for SMBs. And I think it's really
Yeah,
really
they definitely eclipsed even a lot of their competitors that basically are in that kind of mid-market ERP cloud space. So that's definitely showing a trend that the Business Central is really going through and gaining a lot of momentum.
yeah,
We're starting to see that on our side as well with other what I call competitive ERP partners. I won't name them, but everybody knows who they are, starting to take note and actually reach out to us to become partners so that they can take advantage of starting to resell Business Central, because the reason is their clients are asking for it.
Yeah, and just to quickly go through key investments in Business Central currently, AI-powered business workflows. Again, these are all things that Microsoft's really heavily focused in on for BC. Some new world-class service features, enhanced subscription billing, e-document automation, new sustainability reporting tools, Copilot test toolkit for developers, and then 110 plus built-in Power BI reports. That's going to be awesome.
Yep. The sales agent, right? Within Business Central, I saw some demos for that. Just a great tool to be able to automate, the whole process of somebody just sending an email in and asking for, hey, do you have these chairs in stock? And it being able to go out and say, hey, yeah, we've got 4 of those chairs, and what color would you like it in? And then if they don't have it, being able to go through and recommend, an alternative, and just managing that whole process using an agent, with basically then providing that information to a salesperson who can get involved if they need to, or basically the whole thing could just be automated where it then goes through and sends out a sales order, based upon an email that a client sent in about a product request.
Yeah.
Just very powerful.
Yeah. It's like I said, it's pretty cool. I think,
that's the simple, I think, kind of example. You can go through and get a lot more complex with, what the agents are going to be able to do. And, again, using, Azure data lakes and different things of that nature that, are getting more and more powerful. So,
sure. I think a really important thing that we always need to mention is, how is Microsoft investing into the channel, into the partners? And I think you mentioned already some of the major updates, so we won't go into it again. But we talked about that claimed partner of record, or CPOR. Is that what they're calling it now? CPOR.
Yep.
Now that applies to non-transacting partners involved in a deal. So, like Scott said, more partners can earn credit towards solution partner designation. That is awesome. Opens up a lot of new doorways for partners there to get their partner designations, which are vitally important for partners in this channel to get. There was, like we mentioned before, there's some new CSP deployment vouchers available specifically around Copilot. Make sure to take advantage of those. They also expanded the BC Talent Program. So now that's helping 70 plus partners ramp up new hires. We hear about resource constraints all the time. And I think we've seen a lot of success now with that BC Talent Program. So good to get involved with that.
Yeah, and that BC Talent Program is both for new consultants coming in, or basically ones that are on Dynamics legacy solutions that can go through and be moved and retrained to go through and be on Business Central. So there's kind of a couple different paths with it that partners can go through and leverage. And we here at Stratos Cloud Alliance are helping partners with all sorts of things, from pre-sales to professional solution consulting, and helping them with solution designations, and basically kind of what programs that are out there and available. We have different VC acceleration programs that we've been doing.
Mhm.
So now's a great time to go through, and if you're a legacy Dynamics partner, jump on board and get started. Or if you haven't jumped into Dynamics, Business Central yet, we've got a lot of those partners just starting out that we're helping as well.
Yeah. It's lots of cool things happening, especially with that BC acceleration that you mentioned, and new funding opportunities. That's one thing. Stratos Cloud Alliance is nicely afforded from Microsoft, as we're able to pass through funding opportunities into our partners. So great reason to join us. Come on over. It costs no money to join Stratos Cloud Alliance, whether you're a direct partner currently or with another distributor. So be happy to talk. Scott will be the one to talk to you if you're interested. I am completely out of time here, Scott. Probably too many things to talk about for directions. Like we said, that AI talk is continuing to be the biggest voice in the room, and we'll continue to see where that goes and how it helps everybody's everyday life at work.
Well, good stuff. Tons of opportunities out there for partners, Mike. So just a really exciting time to be part of the Microsoft and Stratos Cloud, partner ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll end it there. Thanks so much, Scott, for being here.
Thanks,
See
Mike.
everybody next time. Bye.